Okay, I think this is on. It being 5:30, we have a quorum of the Select Board and a quorum of the Finance Committee, so I'll call the meeting of the Select Board April 22nd to order. First item on our agenda is acceptance of the minutes. We have three. We have April 3rd, April 7th, and April 14th. Andrew or Tricia, do you have any additional changes from what we had at the current?
No.
Just remind me which one was which.
Okay.
Was April 3rd the highway meeting, the executive committee?
April 30 is
April 3rd.
April 3rd was highway labor equipment operator interviews, followed by a 2 p.m. executive session.
Okay. And have we updated the record of our statement from that executive committee?
There's pending approval from Donna, the minutes of that meeting.
Oh, so that'll come up at another meeting.
Yes, those minutes will be approved at another meeting.
Okay.
Everybody here.
And the April 7th minutes, that was our regular
Oh, do you want that on?
every other week meeting.
There we go.
And April 14th, this is the budget meeting with the Finance Committee.
Okay, no, that's good, thank you.
So we can vote on them individually or as a
I'll
package.
move that we accept them as a group, unless,
I'll second that.
yeah.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of April 3rd, 7th, and 14th as a group, as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew?
Yes.
Tricia?
Aye.
And I am aye. Matter passes 3-0. To our appointment with the Finance Committee. The purpose of this meeting this evening is to finalize the annual town meeting warrant. One of the items we will be looking at is revisiting the Arms Library budget appropriation.
Can you hear? They can't hear.
And anything, can or you can't?
Cannot.
Can I?
You want to try this one, Rick?
Maybe we turn it down to your phone. This one, maybe, oh my goodness. Hello.
Better?
There's just a loud fan. That's,
It's echoey in here.
Have no control over
Yeah.
the fan.
no, you're good. That one's good.
Okay, where do we begin? I assume you've all reviewed the warrant. It was sent around. Do we have any questions, anything we need to do within the confines of that?
I guess,
Yeah, I just on the preservation of town records, I know that there's a formula there, so it's telling us you can't divide by 0. Is there a way to just take a formula out of that column that's online?
yes, that has already been done.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We have a, one minute. No, it's just a note to myself. The second line from the bottom on the first page, Article 7 on this budget, number 91,45437. In the draft I had, we had $874 in it. Is that still there?
It is.
Okay, we can leave that one as B. Angel, when she drew this number for us, was under the impression that 874 was the correct number. She realized she had looked at the wrong column, and 746 was the number that would be appropriate. You can reduce that from 874 to 746 if you so see fit.
I'm sorry, which line are you on, Rick?
This is second from the bottom, first page.
Life insurance?
Life insurance, correct.
Oh, it's not 874, it's what's the number?
746.
746.
Which is the final number for fiscal 2025 as well. So she thought she had level funded it, but picked up a number from the wrong column. Would you like to change that?
Okay. Do you need a motion for that? No. Okay.
Next page, page 2. Again, interestingly, second from the bottom, item 6105425 is the Arms to the Library budget. That figure we currently have in at $35,044. A decrease of 13.5.
Can you clarify this note that's written at the bottom here? It says for minimum 37 or 31328.
The Finance Committee met on Friday, April 18th, and that was their recommended number. If you recall, I sent an email out after our meeting with the Finance Committee, and the Arms Library trustees brought it to our attention that if we reduce the budget to that original figure that Rick just said, it would jeopardize their state aid payment.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan Alden was kind enough to tell us what the minimum amount we would need to appropriate in order to keep the state aid in place.
Okay.
And that amount is $37,328.
So if we do increase that from our original agreement with the Finance Committee from $35,044 to $37,328, we will have met that threshold of a minimum that the town is required to put in to make sure that that state allotment is sound. So we would
Is that minimum also the case on the Buckland side?
I have no idea.
They have their own minimum.
They have a different minimum?
They have their own minimum.
Well, it's a
Every
calculation.
town every town has a minimum.
Okay.
And it's a formula.
It's a formula.
That's true, it would be based on their appropriations.
Right. It's not based on the library, it's based on the town appropriation.
Okay.
Each town, Buckland and Shelburne, each appropriates funds for 2 libraries.
Right.
It's the total of that calculation is based on their total appropriation for library services.
Oh, so it includes the Shelburne Library budget?
Yes.
Yes.
Everything in the town budget's toward libraries.
I see.
The combination of the Shelburne Public Library amount and this proposed new amount of $37,328 for the Arms Library together meeting that.
Any discussion?
We don't need to vote on that either.
That one we would need to vote on because we did.
We've already voted on it.
We voted.
The Finance Committee has already met last Friday, considered this and voted to recommend that to us for this evening. So we would need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to increase the Arms Library budget figure on line item 6105425 from $35,044 to $37,328. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll move to a vote. Favor?
Aye.
Tricia?
Aye.
Diane, aye. Motion passes 3-0. Those were the only ones that I knew we needed to address. Are there any that have come in since that I missed?
No.
I do have one question on Article 25. Are you good? My question is, because this is a allocation of CPA funds for a capital project, and it's a capital project for a shared facility, do we have any ability to sort of coordinate our sharing of expenses with Buckland when we vote on things that we share? Because I was told that the language of up to is not permissible, but it would seem then that the question I have is whether there can be any amendment to this to refer to the town of Buckland's contribution to this project.
Did the citizens of Buckland apply to their CPC?
I don't think they have
for
one.
funds? Oh, that's true, they don't have one.
Right.
So I can't see how the Shelburne Selectboard could offer an amendment to an article that the CPC committee has put forth in accordance with their protocol.
To me, it's not, it doesn't really matter whether it's coming from CPC or if it's coming from general town funds. The question still exists on how we share capital expenses with Buckland on the school. Like when we vote other capital items, do we just sort of hope that they're gonna come through with their half, or how does it work?
I don't understand there being
It's not,
an arrangement or a protocol of them matching our half.
What's that?
I don't remember any agreement where they are obligated to match what we do.
But on everything we do with the school, we split it 50-50.
but I believe this is a non-profit organization, the parent-teacher organization that sought these funds.
I understand that, and we have plenty of examples of allied organizations assisting the town with fundraising. I have no objection to that, but it still remains that the basic item is a capital project of the school. And if some of those funds are raised by a nonprofit, that's great. All the better for the town taxpayers. But if town funds are applied to a capital project that in a shared facility, shouldn't there be some way of saying we want fair dealing with our partner town?
I can understand what you're saying. On the other hand, this went through the CPC process. I don't know that we have a voice in how the CPC is going to operate and, grant the awards that they granted.
But of course we have a voice, that's why it's on the warrant. Anything on the warrant can be amended.
I would suggest that you do it from the floor.
I know, I'm just wondering what language is acceptable to amend a budget item. You can just say, I want a lower number. I know you can do that, but can you say contingent on or as matched by the town of Buckland? That's the advice I'm looking for as we go forward. We have 5 or 6 shared facilities with the town of Buckland. And in all of them, as we just noted with our Arms Library vote, it's important that we deal fairly with one another across the river.
It's my understanding they do have a warrant article looking for funds for the project. We not there are like
Then I would propose we match their warrant article. But I can amend that from the floor once we find out what that is. But I'm just saying that in the future it would be helpful to have language that yokes us together on the things that we share so that we can budget in a more rational way than just sort of throwing up a number and saying, gee, I hope the town of Buckland is voting the same way we are,
Well, that's your prerogative for sure. I'd say, go ahead, take it up at the annual town meeting.
Okay, no, I'm just saying that, Terry, if you have any research into that question, I would appreciate some guidance on how towns share expenses and how they do it in a warrant situation, which is how we appropriate our money.
I can certainly look for guidance on that.
Okay.
I'm not sure, there are 2 other towns that are quite varied, like Buckland and Shelburne, but I will try to find an answer for that.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, we kind of jumped off omnibus budget and capital budgets and went into articles, so let's just pop back. Any other comments or questions from what you have been presented on omnibus article number 7? None from the finance committee? None from you, Tricia?
No.
Andrew?
No.
Let's go to the capital overview budget. I'm sorry, that's
So we don't need to do that.
That's in the draft book. So real quick,
So
look at warrants.
if no one has any more changes to this, we would vote to accept the warrant as presented so that I can post it. And just for the record, the town attorney has reviewed it and found it to be acceptable.
The town attorney has reviewed the warrant article for the warrant and its articles for approval as prepared for us this evening. Is there any other discussion on that?
Yeah, does that include the changes to the budget? Also, she only needed to review the warrant articles themselves, is that
That's
correct?
correct.
That's
Okay,
correct.
thank you. Then I have no other comments.
Any other comments on the article section on the finance committee?
No.
None. None from Tricia. Andrew, you done?
Yep.
I have a motion to accept.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded to accept the warrant, the town warrant articles. And we'll put the matter to, I should ask, any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Tricia?
Aye.
Andrew?
Wait, before I vote, just, Terry, did we get clear on the 3 sewer articles?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Aye.
And I know aye. Matter passes 3-0. I'm not mistaken, and that takes care of business we needed to do with finance today. Is that correct? Thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Stick around for this one? They'll stay for this one.
Absolutely, but stay with
Look it
us.
on your lap, so.
As you wish.
Thank you.
Face the music.
I just have a question about public comment.
That's at the end of the regular.
Okay, thank you. We're going to keep going through the agenda.
Yes.
Doing a
Yeah.
special. We're inserting the special into the middle of it.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is liaison reports. Andrew, do you have any liaison reports for this evening?
I just wanted to be clear, are we going into the special?
No.
That's true, that is
We're
true.
going to stay on that.
It says that our agenda is that the special
There's
is
the
next.
discussion.
At 7
At 7 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to continue with our regular select board meeting until approximately 10 after 6, at which time we need to clear this room. That's when the town clerk and his staff will begin checking people into the special town meeting at quarter after. So he's asked that we clear the room so that everybody can get the registration, come back in. We'll have the special town meeting and we'll resume the select board meeting after the special town meeting. But from there.
Great.
So liaison.
I did meet with Rick up at the highway.
Jeff.
Jeff at the highway garage, and we did we had observed a road test on the equipment with our one candidate remaining. And I have not yet heard back from Terry. Did Jeff give you a recommendation on highway?
He was checking references today. I did not hear back from him.
Okay, I didn't either, so that's as far as we got.
Yes.
I don't have anything else.
Tricia?
The EMD, they were going to have a meeting of the Emergency Management Committee, and Tom unfortunately took ill, so that was postponed. And then with MVP, we're still waiting to hear back on the grant. We won't hear back on the MVP action grant until the summer. And I'm looking into the culvert replacement grant with DER for the culvert on Coleraine Shelburne Road. And the town's been very busy doing budgeting and the warrant at Town Hall. Joe's getting ready for the annual town meeting and town election, mostly town election. I think that's about it. We'll be meeting with Angel soon too, so tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I don't have any liaison reports specifically at this time, but I would like to take my moment of that to remind folks, I think this is being recorded again and will be out there. The annual town election is May 20th. This is, at the moment, a complete list. We have 6 open elected seats with no applicant, which is unfortunate. I would hope that we could get some people to step forward. We have an assessor's 3-year position with no candidate available, so that could be a write-in campaign. We have a planning board, 1-year unexpired term that is open with no candidate. Shelburne Free Public Library trustee for 3 years. We have 1 candidate, but we need to vote for up to 2, and so we only have 1 candidate for 2 slots there. Recreation Committee for 3-year unexpired term, we have no candidate, and Recreation Committee for a 1-year unexpired term, we have no candidate. And the last is the Mohawk Trail Regional School Committee, a 3-year term, we have no candidate. So there's lots of opportunity for folks to step up and get into the fray, if you will.
Rick, I do have one other update. In my informal role, it's not a liaison role with the Memorial Hall Theater project. We did get a single bid back from the general contractor on the 18th. That actually falls within our budget, so
I think we're going to take that up under any other business.
I am planning to bring it forward then. I just wanted to let you know that good news has occurred.
Saw that earlier
You can
today.
move forward.
And it was under budget, as you said, right? Or under
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us to old business. You mentioned the highway laborer position. We had 2 candidates that were interviewed. They were scheduled for an actual vehicle test at the yard. One of the candidates took a different job before we got to that. And we did that process, but we haven't had a report from the highway superintendent to complete the background checks or references, so we can't act on this evening. Is that correct?
Unless the board
Or-
wishes to
Yeah.
authorize Andrew to solidify the hire once we have reference checks, but it could wait the 2 weeks if you prefer.
If you all want to do that, I mean, I would proceed with Jeff's recommendation. You know, I think we both observed his road test and thought he did fine, you know. But I think it's really Jeff's, you know, got the main call there in terms of the crew he
Yeah, I
wants.
think that was the recommendation, that
Yeah.
if we do vote this evening to accept this person, which seemed like a great candidate to me during the interviews, that we could do it
I would say-
on the approval of the
We
highway
could say
superintendent.
accepted contingent on Jeff's recommendation. Yeah,
So moved.
sure, I'll move that.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the candidate who has applied for highway laborer position, contingent on the reference checks by the highway superintendent and his approval of hiring. Any further discussion? Hearing none, matter to a vote. Andrew?
Yes.
Tricia?
Aye.
And I am aye. Matter passes 3-0. Whole business, Cowell Gym insulated shade proposals regarding the recommendation for award. And Mr. Walsh.
Thank you. We had, the bid went out, we ended up with only receiving one bid.
Would you
I
like
can
this?
speak loud enough.
There you go. Have it.
Can you hear in the back?
Yeah,
I
no.
can't hear you in the
Stand
back,
up.
John.
Actually, there's a third mic up there. There's a bit there.
I don't know if you can see how,
Press
what
the
the
gray
sound
button.
level is.
I'll be here all week.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. So we put the bid out, we ended up having 4 contractors interested, but only 1 bidding. It came in well underneath what we have for the grant available. It's the same contractor that we awarded the windows to for the basement and the attic and the first floor. I checked 2 of the 3 references. Both were glowing, very enthusiastic about Window Depot of Boston, or Boston Window Depot. So
That's the name of the contract.
Window Depot of Boston.
What was that?
Window Depot of Boston.
Window Depot. I couldn't make out the words with the microphone. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so you do have the contract in front of you. Just so folks in attendance appreciate, this was insulated shades for the gymnasium, those giant single-pane windows. As you know, we've converted to heat pumps. The energy efficiency of this change is substantial and was recommended by our energy committee. The grant was proposed and received.
We haven't received, we have not received the money yet until
Oh,
the
we-
project is complete.
We received approval.
We haven't received approval.
So we have this bid from Window Depot. I forget, they're Cambridge or something.
The owner lives in Shrewsbury, the business is just south of Boston.
Just south of Boston. Total cost $23,100. That makes a $2,310 cost per unit for the 10 mechanical shades for the large internal windows in the gymnasium. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
We moved and seconded to accept bid from Window Depot for $23,100 for 10 mechanical shades for Cowell Gymnasium. Any further discussion?
Thank you very much.
Hearing none. Andrew?
Aye.
Tricia?
Aye.
And I am on. Motion passes 3-0. New business. We have Jackie Goodman from the Shelburne Cultural Council regarding a request to appoint Leslie Taylor and Deb Verhoff. I hope I pronounced that right. The first one is Leslie Taylor. She's of Patton Road, Shelburne. She's expressed her willingness to be appointed to the Cultural Council. She has met with them, and Jackie is asking that we appoint her to a 3-year term beginning immediately.
I reviewed her resume and her letter, and I think she'd be a great contributor to the Cultural Council, so I move that we approve this request.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Tricia?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Just clarification, this is for both Leslie and
No, that was
Deb?
just.
This was just Leslie.
Just
Okay,
Leslie.
thank you.
The second is for, yeah, I was just looking, yep, another 3-year term, also requested to begin immediately. And it's Deb Verhoff from Bridge Street, Shelburne. I've reviewed her request for her letter of interest. Any comments, discussion, or motion?
Based on the recommendation of the cultural council, I would move to appoint Deb Burhoff to it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Deborah Burhoff to a 3-year term beginning immediately for the Shelburne Cultural Council. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam will vote. Tricia?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
And I am aye. Passes 3-0 as well. Okay, any other business?
Just the parade.
Great.
We have, oh, I'm sorry, still under new business, I skipped one. Parade permit for Oktoberfest with revised dates. I believe we considered this previously for different new dates. I'll give you the whole details. This is the second annual Shelburne Falls Oktoberfest, a community-focused fundraising event hosted by Buckland Shelburne Elementary School. Now scheduled to take place Saturday, October 4th from 11 to 6 at the school with a rain date of October 11th. The application is in order. The fee is $450, includes patrol, police patrol. I think that's all the details. Is there a motion to approve the permit?
They had a very successful first year, I think, on that, so I will, I think the group put on a great show the first time out and had a very successful first year with this event, and so I would move that we approve this parade permit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Put the matter to a vote. Andrew?
Yes.
Tricia?
Aye.
I am aye. Motion passes 3-0. Now, any other business? Our next meeting is May 5th, and of course, the annual town meeting is May 6th. That'll be a fun week. Memorial Hall Theater bid results. Andrew, you mentioned it briefly earlier. Bring us up to date.
April 18th, last Friday, was the deadline for, oh, I guess I should be talking about this. April 18th was the deadline for bid submission for the Phase 2 renovations to Memorial Hall Theater, which are repair of the tin ceiling, repair of the floors, painting of the interior. Those were the 3 projects for that bid. We got a sub bid, which was the painting. It's a required sub bid for, I think, $31,000 and something. And the general contractor's bid, we only had one general contractor attend the walkthrough, which was required, and that was Renaissance Builders. They submitted the general contractor bid, which includes that sub bid, for a total of just under $150,000. Do I have that correct, Terry?
I don't have the dollar amount in front of me.
Okay.
It's
It's like 149 something,
Right.
yeah.
149.
Which, together with our bid that we already accepted for the replacement of the chairs, that was 190,000 and something, is a total of about $340,000, which is actually well within our budget. We have a matching grant from the Mass Cultural Council's Cultural Facilities Fund for $187,000, and the town has put up over a 3-year time span $150,000. So right there, you just have it about covered. The Memorial Hall Association has raised, I think, north of $50,000 already in their capital campaign efforts. So we're well within our means to proceed with the Phase 2 project. And my proposal is that we accept Renaissance's bid and authorize you as chair to sign a contract with them and the painting company. And then we can initiate the Take a Seat campaign in early May. My proposal is to hold the first 2 Saturdays in May as an opportunity for anybody who wants to come and take a memento of the old piece of the hall. And then once that's complete, Highland Seating, which has the seating portion of the bid, can come in and remove the remaining seats after May 12th. And then the other renovation work can begin by Renaissance Builders. We're projecting that to go through May and June, probably into July, since we're starting mid-May-ish. And then once the painting, the ceiling, and the floor work are done, then Highland will come back and install the new seats. And we should be wrapped up sometime in July if all goes to plan. But that's the general outline of phase 2. And now that we have that underway, we can begin the lobbying campaign with our governor to secure the $250,000 that Senator Mark earmarked for us in the Economic Development Bond Bill. But we have to get the governor to include that in her capital improvement plan in order to actually get that money. So that's kind of the beginning of phase 3. But we'll be cranking up that effort with the Memorial Hall Association once we get phase 2 underway. But the one piece of all that I don't yet know the answer to is what Renaissance Builders' actual schedule will be. Do you know, Terry, whether they're on deck to start in mid-May, or do we?
I have no idea.
We don't know.
We didn't know who the bid award was until.
Until this morning.
So that's the one kind of outstanding piece in the whole scheduling business. I just got an email before this meeting from Highland Seating asking for an update, so I sort of shared with her what I've just shared with you, but also noting that we don't yet have a construction schedule from Renaissance Builders. So that's the one piece we still have to nail down.
So you're looking for a vote?
So the motion I would ask for right now is to accept the bid from Renaissance Builders. I think, did we already accept the painting bid?
No, we haven't.
Oh, so we've got to accept those 2 bids. And then authorize you as our chair to enter into a contract with those bidders.
Oh, okay, I was just trying to.
Well, I'll make that motion since since I just made it.
Okay, I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the both bids, the paint, the paint and the
General contractor.
general contractor bids
Yeah,
as well.
we only had 1 bid for each of those things. Yeah.
Right. And that was run through the Franklin County Council of Governments.
Yeah.
In the normal bid process.
Yeah, and they just emailed today and said that they have done their full process in terms of checking the references and all that stuff. So so those bids have made it through the public bidding process.
So it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the matter to a vote. Tricia?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
I'm aye. Matter passes 3-0. Is there any other business?
Yeah. If I may. So I had asked about the timeline for the Barbells Ferry Bridge and the materials that were going to be used when we were talking about that on the April 7th meeting, and
It's only 6:15.
I think they were going to pass those questions on to Stan Tech. Did we get any answers?
No response yet.
Okay, thank you. And then, very quickly, We received a request from the Mass Municipal Association to contact our legislators regarding state budget, specifically some amendments. And I just wanted to know if we can vote to send an email of support for these, the unrestricted local aid amendment number 306, the Chapter 90 Roads and Bridges Supplemental Aid Amendment 434, and the Rural School Aid Amendment 1647. I don't know what the protocol is for that, or if that's something that we would normally do or not.
Yeah, we do that.
We definitely do that, but I've just heard what we've just read, so I'm feeling a little underinformed.
Is this from the Mass Municipal Association?
Yes,
From Mass
that's what I was
Municipal?
saying. Yeah, so here, if I, yeah, we got that. A couple of emails from them. I know it was here on, what date was this?
So should we
Saturday.
vote at our next meeting instead of tonight?
Do they have a
I'm
timeline
looking
there?
here. Yeah, they're going to vote on, or they're going to debate their version of the budget, the House of Representatives, on Monday, April 28th.
So we should vote on it now.
So that's why I was bringing that forward.
I'm in support of those three amendments.
Okay, so do you send that on our behalf, Terry, or?
Because I left the room, I missed it. So could
Okay.
you send that to me tomorrow, and then I will send it on your behalf to the select board for you?
Sure.
Thank you.
Did you put that in the form of a motion, Andrew?
Sure, I'll move that the town of Shelburne support the three Mass Municipal Association amendments as outlined by Tricia.
Okay, so just to be clear, there was a fourth one, but I didn't know that it necessarily applied to our town, so I didn't include that. If you would like, I can tell you what that is. And Shannon Grant, it says, please ask your representatives to support amendment number 1119 to increase funding for the Shannon Grant program by $3.3 million. This anti-gang grant program helps cities and towns respond to and suppress gang-related activities. Not thinking that it was pertinent to Shelburne, I didn't know that we needed to send our support for that, so I didn't include it in that list.
I think stick with the first three. You good with the first three on your motion? And Tricia, did you second?
Yes.
It's been moved and seconded to set the letter of support for those three. Are they initiatives? What would you call them?
Their
Letters of
amendments.
support for the
Amendments.
amendments.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, matter to the vote. Andrew?
Yes.
Tricia?
Aye.
Diane, yes. And matter passes 3-0. We've been kind of eyeballing the traffic outside. There's little to none. The town clerk has come and given us permission to push on until 6:30 before we clear this room to get back for our 7 o'clock. So let's soldier on and see if we can wrap up our meeting and not have to recess it and continue after the special. Excuse me. Correspondence. We have a letter from Norm Davenport, Conservation Commission, regarding 49 Mechanic Street. Andrew, would you like to speak to it?
Yeah, thank you. That was Norm's and Faye Whitney's sort of wrap up on a site visit that we took to 49 Mechanic with. I met with Norm Davenport and with Megan McDonough and Bill Luttrell from Habitat, Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity. In the subsequent follow-up to that letter, Bill Luttrell did contact Bill Stinson, who I think is the regional Department of Environmental Protection rep for our area. He's based in Springfield.
Mark Stinson.
Mark Stinson, thank you. I should just call him Rick Stinson, and then we'll be all set. And apparently confirmed that there is not a need for wetland delineation there, because there is no wetland to delineate. So Bill Luttrell said he would do that write-up for us as a town to bring to the Conservation Commission to request a, what is it called?
Request for determination of applicability.
Right, an RDA or a negative ruling on an RDA. And he was confident that would be the case. So I guess what I'm proposing to do is not try to shoehorn that into their first meeting in May thing, but do it in June after the town has voted on other funding for the other pieces of the project. And that should give us enough time to get on their agenda and get the paperwork in place and all that kind of stuff. So we can, I can give you more of an update at our May 5th meeting, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more there, but it sounded promising. I think mainly it was because the, what is it called, the geological survey map of that area showed a stream that was heading toward that property but had been put underground, I think in the 19th century. And so that underground portion of the stream moved the beginning of the wetland, technical wetland. The whole stream is actually dry because that stream now flows directly west into the Deerfield River on this side of the building here. But even if you did consider that north-south flowing former stream a stream, it ends more than 300 feet from the property. So
Okay.
that was where Bill came out with it. And so that's where we are for the moment.
Great. There was a request from Andrew to put on the town warrant, the request of $10,000 to do the study, which would include environmental and the wetlands as needed for Mechanic Street 34, is it?
49.
I think
49 or 49.
Habitat, even though wetland delineation doesn't seem to be needed, they thought that a survey of the property would be valuable in moving to the next step, which once you get past the environmental review, bringing it to the ZBA for special permit approval, having the property surveyed
Great.
will be helpful for that.
Okay. We have any discussion?
Yes, so I read this notice from Norm Davenport, the Conservation Commission Chair, and it does say that it would be better if Mr. Stinson's recommendation, again, Mr. Stinson is the circuit rider for Mass DEP, that his recommendation be followed and a delineation be done, because there's more to a delineation and it doesn't look wet, it went underground, and I think that is the most prudent thing to do in this situation.
If we can find a wetland specialist who can find something to delineate, we can certainly delineate it. But the follow-up to that letter, as I mentioned, was that the wetland specialist who was there at the meeting didn't think there was anything to delineate. But if that's something that the Concom wants, and we can find somebody to put pins in the ground and identify something, then we can certainly do that.
So this will come up after the Conservation Commission meets next time, correct? For us? So this will come before us again to discuss? Or not before town meeting?
I don't think, I wasn't planning to go to the Concom in May, I was planning to go in June. So I think we have some time there's a little email chain you can review there of that post-letter conversation.
Okay.
And,
Well, good.
Yeah.
Let's let it sit there then. We've got 10 minutes almost left. Let's move on to our last item on the agenda, and we won't have to recess and come back after a special town meeting. We'll open to any public comment. Excuse me. I will entertain public comment under the following procedures. First, please identify yourself, your full name and address. We'll allow 2 minutes with the understanding that the select board cannot comment or engage in discussion. It is not a platform for repeating misinformation and political items of the like. Wish to make a public comment, please stand and step forward and we'll give you a mic. Did you pass her that?
Thanks.
Press the gray button.
You got it.
Hello?
No, here,
Hold the question.
it is on. It's on.
Thank you.
Just a little closer, right?
What's that?
Just a little
Right up
closer
to your
to
mouth.
Okay. I'm Lori Wheeler, Arms Library.
You gotta hold it right up here.
71A Main Street, and my public comment is about the cuts made to the library, obviously. The email that we received early last week was a shock, and we had not known beforehand that such a decision was being considered. In a past year, when a similar cut was proposed, the Arms was given opportunity to make a presentation about detriments of such funding cuts. Given this, we may have been a bit raw during our trustees meeting. We all appreciate that, Rick, you came to listen and find out about the decertification and certification process. We're a public library committed to growing strong community and learning from each other, working together. The recent decision made by the Finance Committee and Select Board is not in step with what our community is. What was the point, and I'm asking this, what was the point of making this large a funding cut? I mean, is it being used as a point of leverage to get the memorandum of understanding done? We are making a good faith effort with that. Other questions are there other departments being cut to this great degree? And why are we being cut to this degree? I don't know the entire budget, but it doesn't seem that this decision is in keeping with other budget requests. And if the town were to apply for a waiver, should the 2 libraries have been decertified, 5 to 6 documents would have been required from this municipality to let the state know why the municipality was unable to fund the library and fund the town libraries. And one of the questions is, are the cuts disproportionate to other cuts being made in other departments? And just to toss out there, we have all of the IMLS cuts happening, and simultaneously the Massachusetts House of Representatives, the Ways and Means Committee, they level funded Massachusetts libraries. So level funding at that level. Okay, I'm going to stop. But the last thing is, I really do invite any of you to please come sit down and talk with me. And I'm sorry if I'm agitated, but this was a shock, and I should stop. So thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you for your comments. Would anyone else like to speak this evening?
Try to hold it up.
Yeah.
You have to press the gray button.
Is this good?
Okay.
All right. My name's Leah Maldonado, and I live at 48 Mechanic Street. And I'm here tonight to talk about the questions that I'm left with after the Select Board voted to retain Detective Jenkins. Why does the Select Board believe that the students' reports about the inappropriate relationship are not credible. In a high-stakes and high-pressure situation, 6 students attested to the district, the Shelburne PD, and the Berkshire County DA that the student told them that Detective Jenkins bought her alcohol, and the student told them that she engaged in sexual contact with Detective Jenkins in his police cruiser while on duty. But the select board does not consider those attestments under those circumstances credible. That tells the people that are brave enough to report abuse that they won't be believed. And that will perpetuate the cycle of rape culture in this community. Why is the select board employing someone that destroyed evidence that could discredit these allegations, and someone that refused to cooperate in the investigation that could prove these allegations false? Detective Jenkins deleted text messages with the students. The Berkshire County investigators requested Detective Jenkins' phone for a search and an interview with Detective Jenkins. Both requests were denied. Why is the select board okay with power imbalances in employee relationships with one person that has authority over another? Detective Jenkins had educational authority and law enforcement authority over the student. Why did the select board allow Detective Jenkins to work as an unlicensed teacher when he was employed as a school resource officer? The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education did not grant a waiver for Detective Jenkins to teach the forensic science class.
If you have a closing thought, you've got about 10 seconds.
It is not lost on me that the driving force behind the select board's decision to retain Detective Jenkins is the belief that he did not do anything wrong. When institutions close ranks to protect abusers and their enablers, the cycle of rape culture continues.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have comments, public comments? We have 2 minutes, room for one more.
Deborah Andrew.
Deb, you need to press the gray button.
Deborah Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Deborah Andrew, 165A Reynolds Road, Shelburne. I would like to comment on the evening's process. The presence of the public indicating an interest in proceedings and yet not provided with the documents discussed, nor for the most part able to hear the discussion, except for a few times when Tricia looked over at us and made sure we could. It's troubling, and though likely not intended, feels dismissive of our presence. I would also like to comment on the insertion of the special town meeting. Although it's turned out quite well, it might not have. And I think in the future, the public would appreciate if you could allow a little bit more time and flexibility so that we wouldn't have to leave and then come back to finish the meeting. But thank you so much for making it conclude tonight.
Thank you. We could probably squeeze one more before we need to clear out and let that in.
Yeah.
In regards to 49,
Your name and address, please.
Nick Donlow, 14 Church Street. In regards to 49 Church Street, I have a lot of questions, more than we have time here to discuss right now. But
49 Church Street or 49
Mechanic Street.
Mechanic Street?
Mechanic Street, sorry. I'm just a little concerned and confused, really, as to why it seems as though the article seemed to have been like expedited to be on the warrant for 2 weeks from now. And I know that Andrew has been working on it for a year or two, or probably more, really. And it seems like there's been sufficient time for him to have been in touch with conservationists and habitat people to attend meetings and so forth and whatnot. And maybe they have. I haven't really kept up with it other than just in the last month or 6 weeks or so. But I know that in the meeting, Zoom meeting from 2 weeks ago, that it seemed like people were a little bit under the gun to vote yes, to put it on the warrant. You know, there's been meetings at the property in the last 2 weeks, you know, when it seems like there's been sufficient enough time prior to crunch time for the warrant, for it to have been right at the end here. And, you know, people are expected to come and vote on an issue that really nobody knows anything about other than just, you know, what has been presented here at the last 2 or 3 meetings. And so I don't know how you can expect people to make an informed vote on something that's going to affect an entire neighborhood without first informing the neighborhood or the abutters of the issue personally, or anybody in the town really to make a conscious vote on the issue when there's a lot of questions to be determined about what exactly affordable housing is, how it works, the layout, footprint, the property itself, and so on and so forth. So,
Thank you very much. And is there a lineup for people to check in? No? Anyone else have a comment?
Did you press button?
I did, I pressed
Thank
it.
you.
I appreciate that. I want to thank Leah for speaking up, and I've sent you documents about, sorry, my name is Amanda Kingsley. I'm at 91 Mechanic Street in Shelburne. I have sent you documents with no reply with my same concerns. I think that you have a problem. It seems that people are not interested in filling the seats that the town has. I think this is a prime example of why not, right? I don't feel as a constituent that I can communicate with the town with my concerns and be heard. And so why would I want to serve in that board where I cannot communicate with my constituents in a way that I feel like I'm actually doing the job that I'm hired to do? So that's extremely challenging to me. I just want to say that I like to assume good intentions. And that's why I wanted to give you the opportunity to express your good intentions for retaining Tucker Jenkins. I am beyond appalled by the reading of the DA report, the school communications and the newspaper articles, and not hearing back from you what your good intentions are. I want to believe that you have them, and I think you owe it to us to tell us why you decided to retain someone who feels like a complete danger to this community.
We're well past our time, but I think we've covered everybody in attendance who wanted to speak. So we'll look for and thank you all for your comments. We'll look for a motion to adjourn and we'll clear the room so we can come back in with voting credentials.
So,
Seconded, Andrew?
Yes, second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn at 6:33. All in favor? Aye. Andrew?
Yes.
Tricia? Aye. Diamond? Motion passes 3-0. We're adjourned, and we don't need to come back after the special town meeting. Thank you much.
I'm going to start since the hour is here,
You get 10.
so you don't have to hurry. The day and hour haven't come, the warrant haven't been served and returned, and a quorum of 7 being present, at least 7. I hereby call the special town meeting of the town of Shelburne to order. We will act on the warrant as printed and any other business that may lawfully come before this town meeting. All right, as you know, I'm Roland Jagger. Do you want me to introduce everybody, or?
They've all
No?
been here.
All right, everybody knows what you need to do. Everybody knows how this runs, so I don't have to repeat that. All right, then I will first ask, who's the chair of the, Rick? Rick, do you have any words you want to say before we start?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Then we will proceed. If there's no objections, we'll move on to Article 1. To see if the town will vote to rescind the vote taken under Article 24 of the May 2nd, 2023 town meeting, creating an opioid settlement stabilization fund, and revoke the dedication of 100% of the opioid litigation settlement funds received by the town to such fund, and such funds to henceforth be placed in an opioid settlement special revenue fund, and to be expended without further appropriation for all of the purposes allowed by law as further described in the warrant, or take any other action relative thereto.
Mr. Moderator, so moved.
Okay, Rick LaPierre moves.
Second.
And Mr. Burnham seconds. All right, and this will require a 2/3 majority vote. So, all right, so would Rick like to address this?
No, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. The state said do one thing and changed their mind later and said do something different, and that's all we're doing. That it in a nutshell? There you go.
All right. Okay, does the Finance Committee have any recommendations on this article?
We do not.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is unanimous, and I so declare. All right, Article 2. See if the town will vote to transfer the entire balance of $17,972.65 plus any and all new receipts and interest accrued subsequent to the posting of this warrant from the Opioid Settlement Stabilization Fund to the Opioid Settlement Special Revenue Fund as further described in the warrant, or take any other action relative thereto. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Tricia moved,
Yes.
I'll second.
and Mr. Baker second. Okay, would Tricia like to address this?
I think it's just more of the same. We're moving everything where it needs to be for the state's newly found version of the fund.
Okay, does Finance Committee have any recommendations? Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is approved unanimously. And Article 3. To see if the town will vote to transfer $24,300 from the Community Preservation Fund undesignated reserve account and allocate said funds to accounts as further described in the warrant, or take any other action there too.
Mr. Moderator, so moved.
Okay, was that Mr. LaPierre? Okay. LaPierre moves,
Second.
and Mr. Baker seconds. And would Mr. LaPierre like to speak to the motion?
I will give you a quick overview. This is housekeeping, correcting the absence thereof. In a nutshell, our town accountant needs to file the annual report of the CPA funds for fiscal year 2024. That was needs to file it before the end of fiscal year 2025, hence the special town meeting article. It was our first year of those CPC funds, and the process wasn't a well-oiled machine at that point, and so the appropriate amount of money, which is $8,100, did not get earmarked for the required 3 equal 10% portions, that being Historic Resource Reserve Account, Community Housing Reserve Account, and the Open Space Reserve Account. That's the 10% for those 3 reserve accounts. For reference, fiscal year 2025, which we are in and about to end, we did that correctly at our last town meeting. We're just correcting the failure to do something no one knew we needed to do at that point.
Okay, does the Finance Committee have any recommendations on this article? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is approved unanimously. And that brings us to the end of the warrant. I will entertain a motion to dissolve this special meeting of the town of Shelburne.
So moved.
We have a motion made by Mr. Burnham and seconded by Mr. Baker. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion is approved unanimously.
Never.
Thank you very much.
Hesitate on.
Thank you.